The voice of Motown, West Virginia's leader in news, analysis, and rumors, proudly presents the Voice of Motown podcast, featuring your boys, Brandon and Tyler. Take it away, gentlemen.
This is the Voice of Motown podcast. I'm Tyler Pepe.
I'm Brandon Cork, and this is a WVU podcast by two suffering WVU fans. We're ready.
All right, guys. Today we have former West Virginia Mountaineer basketball star Derek Culver. Derek made the second team Big 12 as a freshman, first team All Big 12 his last year at WVU. Derek was also named academic All Big 12 men's basketball team, and he became the first West Virginia player to record 20 points, pull down 20 rebounds in one game since 1977. Derek, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Definitely. And those are some impressive accolades. So it's, me as a fan, it's really cool to be able to speak to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get right into the questions. Derek, we were wondering, I know you've only been gone for a short period of time, but do you keep in touch with any of your former teammates?
Oh, yeah, I keep in touch with a lot of my boys. I keep in touch with Keedy a lot. I talk to Keedy every now and then. Me and Gabe, we chit-chat, every now and then, once in a while. But, those guys are always going to be my brothers, things like that. So, that's communication factor. It's never going to go anywhere.
That's awesome. So do you have a feel on how you think this team's going to do? I know losing you and Deuce is kind of two big pieces. So any thoughts on how this year's team's going to be, and who do you think is going to be the team leader?
To be honest with you, I think Gabe's going to be the team leader, just because how Gabe, his approach is every day when he brings to the game. He's always going to be defensive. So with that being said, Gabe's going to bring the energy, and I think a lot of guys off of that is going to follow suit because they're going to see, not only Gabe, just talking and, saying that, this is what we got to do. Gabe, he's going to be the one on the front line, showing you. So, with that being said, I feel like Gabe is going to be one of the leaders. Taz, Sean, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see Jalen taking more of a leadership role this year too.
That's awesome. We've heard some really good things about Jalen. I know some quotes from Taz. It seems like he's ready to take over, which is exciting, especially him being a West Virginia boy.
Yeah, no, and that's going to be big for Jalen. Jalen, like I said, Jalen. The only thing that's going to stop Jalen is Jalen. Because Jalen, he's a very big guard. He can put the ball on the ground. He can shoot at a very high level. So I don't believe there's really going to be too much, that's going to stop Jalen from being, reaching his full potential.
Yeah, for sure. The team this year has a ton of talent. They're going to be fun to watch. What was it like playing for a coach like Bob Huggins?
I love playing for Coach Huggins. I'm not going to lie, even though he was tough on me, but I needed it. It taught me a lot, helped me grow up over the years. But I would say for the most, man, like one thing I loved about Hugs is he called me out on things that, that I was doing wrong. Like everybody knows that's the whole story. Like when I first got there, I wasn't doing right, and he put me in the doghouse, and I had to figure things out. A credit to that, because a lot of coaches would have just, wrote me off. Oh, cut him from the team. He's a bad egg, or he's a bad player, or whatever the case may be, and just let me go instead of actually teaching me and showing me, like, bro, you're doing wrong. Like, this is what you got to do, like, to fix your issues. And then he told me, not necessarily issues, but just, whatever I was dealing with, this is what you got to do to fix whatever the case may be. And he was like, sit me down and told me and showed me, and that, that helped me grow up a lot, because it's just like, oh, man, he doesn't really need me. So, he could have been just kicking me out the door, because he had way far more better players than me. So, for him to actually just sit here and, like, take his time out of his day, like, yo, this is what I'm going to do with you. I'm not saying, like, it wasn't close to getting kicked out. It was pretty close. But, he worked with me, and, he was able to, just be able to helped me grow. And from that point on, I just knew Hugs was always gonna have my best favor.
That's awesome. That kind of answered my next question. It just seems like, once you kind of grasp that, I give you a lot of credit for sticking with it too, because we've seen numerous players who, have the talent and they're out the door in a year or two. So you being able to stick through, kind of take the learning, and just showed how successful that coaching can be. So kudos to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I truly appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Coach Huggins, I mean, he seems to have such a special relationship with his players, and that's why everyone plays so hard for him. If you look at some of the teammates you've played with over the years, I mean, you've mentioned Gabe a few times, and he's a role player. I mean, he loves pulling down rebounds, playing defense, feeding his teammates, and then you compare that to Deuce McBride, who you also played with, and he embraces and seems most comfortable when the offense is running through him. Watching you play at WVU, I've seen you play both roles. Really, which one did you feel most comfortable with? Did you like it when the offense ran through you?
Yeah, of course, a lot of players will want the ball to go through them a lot. But to be honest with you, I was never really like a score first type of player. I was like pass. I would pass the ball out of the low post a lot, and that's low key where I also used to get cussed out a lot by coach. She used to tell me, "You got the ball that close, to score the ball, score the ball." And like I see Sean in the corner. If you see Sean in the corner by himself, I mean, you can be halfway dunking the ball, you're gonna pass the ball back out, so he can get. You gonna pass. You gonna pass the ball back out. So he used to just be like, Derek, like just score the ball, score the ball, score the ball. But eventually as time went on, I'm like, yeah, I like getting the ball a lot. But till I started realizing I was getting triple teamed, and the whole defense would be packed in, towards the post, and I used to be like, bro, I'm getting guarded by everybody on the court, like everybody. Like I can't, I can barely move. And then but I had teammates like Taz Sherman, Deuce McBride, and Emmett Matthews, and to take the stress off, because you can't really just focus on me if you got me and Deuce on the court at the same time. So you're gonna have to put somebody on Deuce, and then if you put somebody on Deuce, you're gonna have to put somebody on Emmett, because Emmett was the slasher, he was the taller player, he could do a little bit of both, shoot, put it on the ground. But we used to get on him about his being about being toughness, but he was tough enough with what he had to do. So we just had a lot of good pieces, just a really a lot of good pieces. Yeah, I'm gonna miss my brothers for real though, man. I'm gonna miss them for sure.
Definitely. And it seemed like your playing style, like you mentioned, you were just getting swarmed by the defense. It definitely seemed like it took a toll on your body. Seemed like, you were getting banged up a lot, and, that had a lot to do with, just having to take breaks and things like that.
Yeah. I remember for sure. I remember one game vividly. We were playing Oklahoma State, and they had a guard named Lakekely or something like that. I forget his name, but he I went up for a rebound, and he boxed out my left leg. Cade Cunningham boxed out my right leg, and somebody else had my upper body, but it just seemed like they all just slammed, like WWE slammed me on the ground as soon as I went up for the ball, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm like, I don't know if I can keep doing this, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Well, Cade had some money now, so maybe you can, make up for it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I give you a lot of credit, man. You were a very tough player, and like you said, yeah, you were constantly being double, triple teamed, and they played you rough, and you didn't always get a lot of calls playing underneath either.
Yeah, that was true. That's most definitely true. Like I remember one time Hugs getting on the one ref. He was a really good ref. He always refed our games, officiated our games, fairly. We never had it felt like, it was like, some refs you just feel like, oh, I don't know, he might be from Texas, because why are Texas getting all these calls? You know what I'm saying? So something like that. But yeah, it was a ref. He was a real neutral ref, and they just I forgot who we were playing. I think it was Oklahoma, and it was like Manic. And he just kept jumping on my back, jumping on my back, jumping on my back, jumping on my back. And I'm just like, ref, you don't see this man hanging off my back? And he's just, and Hugs is, Hugs was like, you don't worry about the refs. Give me some fuel to go off of, and I'll take care of him. And sure enough, here comes from one end of the bench. Here come Hugs. Oh, come here, I gotta tell you something. And I'm like, oh yeah, coach got me. And then after that, I run back down the court.
That's awesome. Yeah, Coach Huggins definitely always has his players back, it seems like. What was the hardest part about leaving WVU early? Because you did leave with 1 year of eligibility left. And, I can even tell just by talking to you now, like, your time there was very special with Coach Huggins, with your teammates. So what was the hardest part about leaving?
I could say like hardest part. I would say hardest part about leaving. To be honest with you, yeah, like I love my teammates and everything the most, but like my hardest part was leaving was I would say I felt like I was leaving Hugs, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
I don't know, it was weird because Hugs from him, you know, showing me interest from the 8th grade. It was just almost like a bond. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. But one thing I will say, like I just felt like I left. Other than me finishing to my senior year, but I feel like that's something I can always go back and get. But I feel like for the most part, like if I could be 110% honest with you, I feel like I left Hugs. Like, and a lot of players would be like, "Man, bro, that sounds crazy. You got to do what is good for you," which is true, which is absolutely true. You got to do what's good for you. But kind of felt like I took off on my boy a little too fast. Like I left, and I don't know. I just miss. I ain't gonna lie, I just miss my coach for real, man. To be honest with you, but you live
That's
and you
awesome, man.
learn.
That's
Things
special.
happen, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I most definitely miss my boy though, for sure. Most definitely.
Do you still keep in contact with Coach Huggins?
We still talk.
That's awesome. What's next for you? Are you I saw that, the most recent news I could find on you was you got waived by the Pacers, but I'm sure you definitely have
Yeah.
something else lined up.
That was that was yeah, that was to be expected though. We knew I was gonna get waived. But yeah, it's there's a lot in store for Derek Culver. A lot of people think what happened, and I seen something on Twitter the other day. Somebody said Derek should have stayed another year at college to get a 9 to 5 job or whatever the case may be. I laugh at stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie, because people don't really be knowing the half of what's going on. But I'm most definitely in the right direction. I'm most definitely doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm most definitely taking care of my business, and I'm gonna surprise a lot of people. I'm gonna surprise a lot of people. A lot of people. Just like this is gonna be like almost like the same surprise when when I had got put in the doghouse and people were like, oh, we don't know if he's ever gonna play for Huggins again or whatever the case may be, and how people just thought it was just a done deal. Nah, it's a lot left. It's a lot left, but I most definitely do miss school though. I do miss school. Well, not school. I miss my coach.
Just don't wherever you end up, just don't let them hire Huggins away. That's not okay. He needs to stay at WVU.
What'd you say?
I said wherever you end up, just don't just don't lobby to take Coach Huggins with you, because we need him here at WVU.
Man, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. If I could put Hugs on the coaching staff that where I'm gonna be at, I most definitely would. Cause like I said, that man showed me a lot. Showed me a lot about growing up and showing me certain things and explaining certain things to me that hard conversations. A lot of people don't like to have hard conversations. Hard conversations were very easy to hug, and I didn't know why. I didn't know why. But yeah. So like I said, um, I just miss my coach. That was it. That's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that says a lot about you. It says a lot about Coach Huggins because, we've been West Virginia fans for a long time, and we've seen over the years that, that hard nosed, tough love style doesn't mix well with everyone. And so, the fact that you were mature enough to understand what he was doing, and it was coming from a place of love. I mean, that says a lot about your personality and your
Mm-hmm.
character as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, playing for Hugs was just, it was like being at home. My mom, my dad, they always taught, you know, toughness and be strong and this, that, and the other. Like my mom, she like hats off to her. Like she did a wonderful job of like being a woman and teaching a man how to be a man from a woman's position. Just how to go about certain things. That's a lot. That's a lot to do for a woman. So like I said, and to not really like baby me and like coddle me. Yeah, she gave me like tender loving and just like that. But as far as just like, oh, here, come here, baby. If something happens, this, that, and other, I never got that, and I'm happy I didn't because that would have been a crutch. You know what I'm saying? So that would have just, that would just have been something else I had to work on later on down in life. So being able to deal with people like be able to deal with my mom and him, things like that. It really changes you for the better. A lot of people shy away from stuff like that. I don't really necessarily shy away from tough love because I feel like if you tell me something that I want to hear, you just doing that just to get me out your face instead of telling me what I gotta hear and actually seeing me somewhere. Well, when I am in your face, I'm gonna be in a better position. Like things like that. So it's just like I don't know. It was just little things with me and Hugs. It was a lot of me trying to figure out his little mind games that he was doing, but it was I was definitely enjoyed my time for sure.
What
That's
was your
awesome.
what was your favorite moment as a Mountaineer or even in the Coliseum?
My favorite, oh man, I think it was what I have. I actually have two favorite moments. I actually have two favorite moments. My, I would say the second favorite moment that I had was when we were playing. Who was it? Who was it? I think Kansas State. Yeah, it might have been a game like what? Who remembers the Kansas State game? But I think we were playing Kansas State, and I guess this is the first time I just realized like Coach used to coach there like a while back. I never knew Coach used to coach at Kansas State. So with that being said, we're coming out, whatever the case, and they're booing Hugs, they're booing Hugs. You're terrible, whatever the case may be. And then I think he had said, I think they're still mad that I left or something like that. I think he had said something funny, like, I think they're still taking it hard that I left, or whatever the case may be. And we end up blowing them out. We end up blowing them out. And this one lady, as we're like walking through, like, I don't even know if Hug seen it. Like, she's like painted completely purple. She's an older lady too. She's like, Hugs, I miss you so much. I wish you would come back. But she's like 80. Like this lady, like 80, bro, like screaming to the top of her lungs. And I'm like, lady, if you don't chill out, like, bro, you better stop screaming so loud. But just to see that, and and my other favorite moment, we were playing Kansas, and we beat Kansas at the Coliseum. And what else? Oh, we beat Kansas at the Coliseum, and that's when everybody stormed the court, whatever the case may be. But I had a math class with this one kid. He was really smart, really really smart. He was good. He was crazy good at math, but he wasn't like a sports guy. They were people who call him like nerdish or geeks or whatever the case may be. But he was a real cool kid, real cool kid. But he just wasn't sporty at all. And so once we beat Kansas, wherever the case may be, like I could just see like the whole Coliseum just running down, and I see everybody all on the court. This, that, and the other. I see professors. I see whatever the case may be, but I see my friend from math class, and he's like this little kid with glasses, like he's like scrawny. Like I see this little kid, he's like Derek. He screams. He talking about some pick me up. He's like, he just said, pick me up, pick me up. So I pick him up and I put him on my shoulders. He's talking, this is the best day of my life. He's hollering like, do you understand my grandparents would kill for a moment to be in the Coliseum?
That's awesome, man. Those are cool
he was
stories.
a West Virginia kid. So, you know, yeah.
That's awesome. I love it.
If I was a college kid around your age, I would have been that scrawny kid wanting to get picked up and celebrate with you. All right. Well, Brandon, you got anything else for him?
Man.
No, I think we about covered it. This was
Yeah.
awesome. This was great. I appreciate how open you are with us. I mean, it's great to hear how close you were with Coach Huggins. I mean, I think it just, as Tyler said, goes to show how close he gets with his players. I know the one thing I always think of with Coach Huggins is that moment in the Final Four when Deshaun Butler went down and he's laying on the floor with them and, consoling them. I think it just kind of goes to show what type of person he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Derek, I mean, I can't thank you enough. Your heart's in the right place. You're very hard worker. You're determined, and West Virginia fans are going to follow you and be rooting for you no matter what you do, man.
I thank you, man. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. And I wish you best of luck, and I look forward to hearing about what's next.
Thank you. You will. Stay tuned. Very shortly. You'll see.
Awesome.
All right. Well, hey, man, down the road, if you want to come back, we'd love to talk to you again. You're easy to talk to, and you're extremely friendly, so we appreciate it, man.
Thank
you.
I
Right,
appreciate it. Just let me know whenever you guys, want to holler at me. Just let me know. I'm a phone call away. Just holler at me.
All right. Sounds good, man. Thank you
Take
so much. Later, man.
Have a good night.
See.
All right, guys, we can't thank Derek Culver enough for joining us. That was a fantastic interview. Such a nice guy and was very open with his answers. If you guys enjoyed this interview, find us on Facebook or on Twitter, Voice of Motown Podcast. Leave us a message. We're hoping to get more interviews down the road with more players or former players. And hopefully down the road, we can get another one with Derek Culver at some point. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. And this is the Voice of Motown Podcast. I'm Tyler Pepe.
And I'm Brandon Cork. Thanks for listening.